Hi there, welcome to the video on basic usage for Flux Capacity's Griffin, the residential investment property analyzer. It's now available through the App Store, downloaded to your iPhone, and the icon looks just like this in the corner here. Now, I've taken the liberty of pre-entering a few details for a property that's in the local area. So I've gone through and I've entered the address. I have entered the city, okay, postal code, country, and state too. Okay, now one thing I want to mention here when we actually enter the country is if I select Canada, it will actually compound the mortgage amounts semi-annually as we do in Canada. Now if I select United States as a country, it will compound the mortgage amount monthly as is per norm in the States. Okay, and most other countries are monthly compounding as well. So I'm going to select Canada for this one, hit done. Okay, nice little feature is a map feature. Drops a little pin on where your property is, so you can go and do a little bit of further due diligence on the neighborhood in which you're looking at to purchase this particular property. Okay. Now we're going to go into price here. I'm going to put in a price of $450. All right. This is the list price, so this is the asking price of the actual property. Now the purchase price is your target acquisition price, so the price that you would like to acquire the property for. So in this case, I'm going to put $420. Okay. And we actually get the opportunity to select a mortgage rate, so I'm going to say 3.99. Yes, there is 3.99 in our market right now. Crazy low rate, I know. Down payment by default sets at 5%, but we have the opportunity to scroll. You see loan to value versus down payment. It's a reciprocal relationship there. So I'm going to use 20% on this one. Okay, 20% down payment. Now the insured button is for capitalized costs that are associated with the loan. So if you click insured, it will add a capitalized amount to the loan, and your mortgage payment will be based on this additional amount plus your loan principal. Okay, amortization, again, pretty straightforward. You get to select what your loan am is. Now in Canada, we just got rolled back to 30 years for high ratio. But we still have 35 years conventionally. So I'm going to use 35 years. Okay. Now we go through the property type here. If I select a zoning, residential or commercial, a neat thing happens here. So I'm going to select residential and show you guys what happens. Okay, so automatically estimate closing costs based on the selected zoning. Yes, I want it to do that. If you select no, it won't populate the closing costs. But if you select yes, it will automatically populate the closing costs that are in the expenses screen following this one. Okay, really neat thing. Construction, we're going to say it's existing. Okay, the property, I'm going to say it's a single detached. The heat, I'm going to say it is forced air. Living space, let's say it's 2,500 square feet. Okay, and on a lot size of, I don't know, 5,500. Just throw that out there. The style, 3 stories. Garage size, it's a double, and I will say that it is detached. Okay, and now we get a chance to go through our expenses here. So we can say, well, how much are we getting for rent? Let's say, for example, we were going to get $3,500 in rent for this triplex. Okay, I'll make it simple for the taxes, $1,200, $100 per month. And the heating costs, you can enter this in as you wish, or perhaps you have your tenants paying for heating costs, so you might enter 0 in here. Okay. Now it has a default for management, maintenance, and vacancy. All these are editable. If it's a property, for example, that you are managing yourself, you might not be billing yourself out per hour, so maybe you're going to put 0. All the same, your vacancy rate might be higher or lower. So let's say that we are going to have a 10% vacancy rate. Okay, so it's really highly customizable as per the input that you have here. Another great thing about the app is that it does have its own built-in manual. You see the little eyes here at the top of every input section. If you activate the little eye info buttons, up pops info about all the different fields that are contained within the app. So if you're not sure what a field is, what it's for, what it means, how you can use it, you can always click on or touch the little I button in the top right hand corner. Built-in help. Okay. The estimated closing costs. Remember back in the type screen, I mentioned that the estimated closing costs will be automatically populated. Here's where they are populated. So you have a property transfer tax or a realty tax, which is a provincial, federal, or regional tax based on the transfer of real property. Okay, and these are all editable. Again, legal, for example, let's say I know a lawyer or a notary who's willing to do this for $400. $400, very nice guy. Appraisal, I may or may not need an appraisal. So if I don't need appraisal, enter in 0, away you go. I'm going to keep the appraisal here at 300 though. Okay, and the inspection, of course, this is optional again, and insurance for your property. Now when we hit analysis, it gives a full breakdown of the summary of the property, so the list price versus the purchase price. It's got a spread to negotiate. So we've got a pretty small spread to negotiate in this case, 6.67%, which tells me that this would be a negotiable deal. Now if you had a high percentage rate there, such as 35 or 40%, it might be a little bit tougher to negotiate a deal. So it's a good first look at whether or not this particular deal may be feasible for you as an investor. Down payment, $84,000. Closing costs, $7,900. The rate that we've evaluated this at, and the amortization that we've evaluated this at, gives you a breakdown of rent per square foot. Really helpful if you're looking at multiple properties in the same area. You can get a good comparison on what the property is actually generating. And if you do enough properties, you can actually know the average of any one particular area that you're looking to evaluate. Monthly taxes. So this would be a monthly tax component. Remember, we entered in $1,200 for annual taxes, so it automatically populates here, $100 per month. Our mortgage amount, our payment, our carrying costs. Our carrying costs factor in our maintenance, vacancy, and management costs. Okay, we get NOI per month, which is cash flow per month. Debt coverage ratio, which is a measure of how much your income covers your carrying costs or exceeds your carrying costs by. A number of 1 here is break even. Anything under 1, you are losing money. Anything over 1 means that you've got your costs covered or your carrying costs covered. Your capitalization rate right here. And then you've got an evaluation section of estimated returns. 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, and at full AM. So if you punch in 40 years for full AM, this last button here will show 40 years. Okay, so back to 3 years, it shows you a projected value, a mortgage outstanding balance with principal pay down, the amount of equity that you are estimated to earn. Now that's based on a 5% year-over-year average increase. Rental income that you have generated, mortgage paid down, so this is principal and interest, this is total payments. Your surplus or shortfall is your cash flow that you've generated over the time frame, and your total gains is obviously your equity plus or minus your cash flow here. Okay, your ROI in this case is your money that you've received back versus the money that you've put in. Okay, and you do have the opportunity to email a report. Now, one thing I should mention here about the value, it does take into account a 5% year-over-year increase. We have an update coming out that you will actually be able to control market conditions. So pretty neat little feature here. So if you think that the property is going to be decreasing on average of, let's say, 3% or 7% over the course of time that you're going to hold it, you can actually account for that. Okay. Now, when we email the report, let's just punch in an email here. Comes up as a really good looking formatted email with all the particular details that you can use actually to send off to a client. You can use to send this off to a realtor, a colleague, or you can send it off to yourself if you just want to have a look at the properties that you are evaluating. Okay, so for simplicity, I'm just going to pop in come on, Mr. iPhone, let's get this done here. There we go. Okay, we'll copy and then we'll go to the next one and we'll go paste, and we will send it off, and I shall get a confirmation. Thank you, your report has been emailed. Let's just have a quick look at what that looks like in the email. Okay, and there we go. So really good looking email here, very clean. It gives you a breakdown of the asking price, the estimated capital that you would need to actually get into this property. It gives you target purchase price, a spread to negotiate, down payment, closing costs, and estimated cash flow per month. Okay, and that is Flux Capacity's Griffin residential investment property analyzing app, basic usage. You can find the app at www.flux-capacity.com/Griffin. Available on the App Store now.